All right, let's move on to Nordstream. This is also very important. And I will recall here on this show, we were very careful to say, I don't know who blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, and I'm not going to make any sort of guesses. And fortunately, we left ourselves a lot of breathing room, unlike most people in the Western press, including Western officials, because several months later, put it up there on the screen, forensic evidence shows no conclusive evidence that Russia is behind the Nord Stream attack. And in fact, whenever you read further, here's what they say, quote, this is a European official. There is no evidence Russia was behind the sabotage. That is after an assessment of 23 diplomatic and intelligence officials across 9 countries interviewed in recent weeks, including those privy to non-public classified information and direct knowledge of the blast itself. Immediately, of course, it was blamed on Russia. And what we know right now is that it was almost certainly a deliberate attack, though we still have no idea who was behind said attack. This is what I'm referring to. Even those with inside knowledge of the forensic details don't conclusively tie Russia to the attack. They also say forensic on an investigation like this are going to be extremely difficult, so we likely will never know. This actually also includes, Krystal, routine intercepts of by the United States of communications of Russian officials, clandestine investigations, and more that have tied currently no evidence of Moscow to the blast on the Nord Stream pipeline. So what do we know? A, it was deliberate. B, there's not and here's the other thing. You know if there was even one shred.
Oh, we would know all about it.
Just like one classified intercept by a fake source or whatever near the KGB, it'd be front page across the way. If they could do it, they would blame them. But, and this is the point, not one shred has currently emerged to point towards Russia. Who did it? We'll never know. Was it the US? Was it Ukraine? Was it somebody in the NATO alliance? Was it one of our new NATO allies? Sweden, Norway, right? Norway had a lot to gain, possibly, because the UK is a possible
suspect
example.
As well.
Everybody always talks about this because it's true, which is, it's almost certainly had to be a nation state because it required like an underwater submerged craft that had, munitions. Like, it was not an easy thing necessarily to pull off. There were a lot of different people to blame. I remember we laid out the case for like 4 different versions whenever it was happening here at the time. But I mean, it's pretty extraordinary and very damning of a lot of people in the media and the Western officials who immediately wanted to blame Russia, just like we should recall what happened with those missiles that fell into Poland. Immediately, Zelensky, the whole world. I will say, by the way, Zelensky immediately blamed Russia for the attack, just saying. So he clearly has shown us he cannot trust a word out of his mouth whenever it comes to any escalation. He immediately blamed Russia for the missiles that fell in Poland. Oh, turns out the Ukrainian air defense missiles.
Yeah.
And then he immediately blamed Russia for the Nord Stream pipeline. Oh, well, it turns out there's not a shred of evidence actually to back that up. And so the point is that for our own safety and security, we should take a wait-and-see approach,
yes.
which is exactly what we said at the time.
Yeah, they even say in this article, some went so far, some of these sort of insiders who have access to non-public information, some went so far as to say they don't think Russia was responsible. Pretty extraordinary for this to come out at this point in the Washington Post after everybody has sort of moved on. Saagar, what it actually reminded me of was when you had the whole Hunter Biden laptop situation.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, this bears all the hallmarks
of a Russian attack.
Of Russian disinformation. It's like this attack on Nord Stream bears all the hallmarks of a Russian operation without actually having any hard evidence. And now they come out and say very conveniently, I guess we'll just never know what really happened here. Okay, yeah, you guys know. You just don't want the rest of the world ultimately to understand what really happened and the way that they were misled.
Bingo.
That's my opinion.
The other key here is about the officials who immediately blamed Russia. Let's put this up there on the screen. This was from a Ukrainian official, the head of the office of President Zelensky, in the immediate aftermath of the attack. The gas leak is nothing more than a terrorist attack planned by Russia, an act of aggression towards the EU, who wants to destabilize economic situation in Europe and cause pre-winter panic. The better response to security investment is tanks for Ukraine, especially German ones. Interesting.
That's a very convenient takeaway there. Interesting.
They've always
very
got tanks
convenient
on the mind.
takeaway.
Here's the thing. Like I said, I'd probably do the same if I were them. That said, we got to do what's best for us. Also, let's not forget our own energy secretary, Jennifer Granholm, let's put this up there on the screen, in the immediate aftermath attack, and this, you could take this as a a basically statement of policy from the Biden administration, said it, quote, seems that Russia is to blame for the attack. In a BBC interview, say it is highly unlikely these incidents are a coincidence. And she said that it would be stupid and absurd that Russia was not to blame. So there you have it. Basically, an official statement by a Western official, a secretary in the Biden administration, and the Ukrainian government itself. We've had denials as well from many of the top heads of NATO states and others. And we should recall this is a very highly escalatory attack, not just the actual damage and all of that itself you put aside. It was near a NATO country's land border. We're talking about 12 miles away in a busy shipping lane. Something easily could have gone wrong, and a lot of people could have died in some merchant shipping incident or other. So it was highly escalatory. Whoever did it clearly had probably a nation state. And right now, some people think it wasn't Russia. So a lot of crow to be eaten by I think, a lot of people, not only Western officials, but you also know the Western media was immediately pouncing on anybody who even had a shred of doubt about what happened with this attack.
Who was it that immediately tweeted out like the U.S. flag and basically like indicated it was the U.S.?
That was Anne Applebaum's husband. So
who
that's
was
the
like
former
diplomat?
foreign minister of the European Union. He said, "Thank you, U.S." He later deleted the tweet days later.
Everybody freaked out about that.
Anne Applebaum, for those who don't know, is probably one of the preeminent Russia hawks here in Washington.
Yeah.
She was also a massive Russiagator, coincidence, between the two, and is basically called for regime change in Russia. I don't think that's an uncharitable way to say it, and would probably be fine with a declaration of war by the United States on that. Her husband, prominent European official there, tweeted that out, only deleted it 3 days later, has actually still yet to explain what exactly he meant by that. So
never said what his thinking was there.
Yeah, look, that's all you're going to get from us. I'm not going to say anything about who it was or who maybe wasn't. We don't know. Got no evidence, but you can make up your own.
Looks less likely that it was Russia than maybe it did a few days ago. Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.